And hello, Time Prophet, Matt Ryan, Brandy, William Jackson, Dee Dee Myers, Rapunzel, John Burns, everyone who is in here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And of course, Neil. Hello, Neil, Randy, Colin, everybody who's in here. And we have an amazing, amazing show. We have an amazing panel today. And of course, we have Mishka and JB here with us. So let's get started. Let's bring in ladies first, and just a shout out to Katie, who might be listening to us for a little bit. She is filling in for weather people, and she's not going to be with us tonight. So here we go. Welcome, Nina.
Hey.
Sorry.
It's all right. It's all good. Hey, PJ, what's going on?
My new format keeps giving me a little trouble.
Oh, no.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Happy to be here. It's exciting. New people to meet, and it was a great episode. So thanks for having me. It's going to be a great show. Everybody check out my channel because I have good news on Fridays that I cover. So if you're depressed or something, check out that stuff. I had a great interview with Gary from Nerdrotic last Wednesday. You can check that out. That's on replay. And tonight I will be on the Midnight's Edge show, Toxic Femininity. So if you want to catch me later, I'll be there at 9. Thank you.
And I did know that Gary did watch Dark Matter. That's good to know. It's good to hear.
Yeah. Did you hear that? I was talking to him about it.
That's great. Awesome. And okay, let's bring in. We have a new panelist filling in for Katie tonight, and I do want to introduce somebody who many of you know from our Twitter community, from our online community. I want to welcome our very own Star Trek Tinkerbell. Welcome, Tink. Good to see you. Can you hear us?
Hello. Yes.
If Tink, if you see that if your connection gets really choppy, you might want to take off the camera, and at least you'll be able to hear us and speak better.
Okay.
If you find it gets very choppy.
Okay.
And welcome, Tinkerbell. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You are an Imagineer. You are involved in a lot of television production. But I will let you tell us a little bit about yourself, whatever you'd like to share.
Yeah. Let's see. My background is mainly in engineering, the Silicon Valley, and collegiate work. And I'm a member of Legion M, co-founder from the first round. So I've been helping in the entertainment industry, sort of behind the scenes for many years with Star Trek. And I just enjoy being incredibly creative and helping fans and lifting really great shows to their best quality.
Awesome. And we will have Tink on again to talk more specifically about what she does and what she is up to. So thank you for joining us, Tink. Let's join us. Let's ask Dr. ADEGA Outlaw to join us. Hello, Doctor. How are you?
Hello.
Hey.
Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you guys. And Nina does have a great show. I'm always lurking. She never sees me, but I'm in the back, always paying attention.
Aw, that's so sweet. Thanks.
The Friday stuff is fun, too. It is nice to have a show that's all dedicated good news.
Any updates yet, ADEGA, on your books?
No, nothing. I'll let you know as soon as I got them. Like I said, there's things I could show you, but they haven't gone through the approval process yet. So, once that's done, I'll start sharing that stuff. The script's coming along for Top Fives. Still really honored to be asked to be a script writer for them. Just staying busy for the most part.
Awesome. And you're going to want to check out, please put in your links, by the way, everybody. And Tink, I'll make sure you have a wrench. And please put in your links, including the top 5 website if you can, ADEGA, which you're writing for now.
Yeah, no, it's a YouTube channel. I'm going to turn my camera off. I'll go hunting for it.
Alrighty. Let's bring in the man who created this whole universe that we're so involved with, Baron Destructo himself, Joe Mallozzi. Welcome, Joseph.
Hello. Great to be back here.
Hi, Joe.
Just like old times.
I hit my ankle against my chair just now, and I made like this angry face as you were coming in. I didn't mean to be like.
I kind of took it personally. It's something we can work through. I'm very excited today because we have not one but 2 special guests today. I'm going to bring them in
Joe,
without further ado.
Can I ask you the real quick question?
Yes.
Just before we introduce, there's a fan question that's been out there quite a bit, and if you could just give us the answer to this question that everybody's been asking.
Probably not, but fire away.
Okay. The Time Prophet in particular was concerned about. He's doing a 3D animation of the Raza, and right here where the cursor was the question: Is this the bridge of the Raza?
Yes. That little row of windows you can barely see right there.
Yeah,
that is the bridge.
All right.
Yes.
Cool.
Fantastic. And this is a 3D rendering of somebody else, a model of somebody else made, but he is working on his own 3D model, and he's some kind of animation he's up to. So we will stay tuned for that. And thank you, Prophet, for sharing that, and thank you, Joe, for answering. And without further ado, I give the floor to Joseph.
All right. First guest is an actor who just really wowed me with his performance, because he can do serious, he can do comedy, and you know how important it is for me to do comedy. And he surprised me also in his various guest appearances. The last time I saw him was in season 2 of The Boys, presenting MISHKA THEBAUD.
Yay!
Welcome, Mishka. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, I was saying I was delightfully surprised to see you do a guest spot on The Boys. What was your character's name? He was like a speedster.
Shockwave.
Oh, that's cool. I still haven't seen that
Yeah.
show yet, but I'll have to watch it.
Yeah,
it's a
good show.
show.
Yeah, okay. No spoilers, but I really liked your character.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that.
So Misha's here, and also with us today is my friend and director, JB Sugar, who not only directed this episode, but right now we're out with Powder Mage trying to set up our next show. So, JB, good to see you, buddy.
Yay!
Look at that.
Welcome.
The Dark Matter hat. I have to say, the swag that we got on Dark Matter was kind of a little wanting. Like that hat with the kind of the label that would sometimes come off. I mean, it says DM, which could mean, I don't know what, Dungeon Master.
Sliding in.
Right, yeah.
DM for sure, Dungeon Master.
Yeah. Or direct message, whatever.
So happy to be here, and yes, and to see you again in different auspices. But yeah, I've been very fortunate to be spending some time, virtual time, with Joe lately.
Before we get into anything, like, JB, could you show me what you were showing us in the green room, what you flashed on at camera?
Here we go. I thought that there were ratings issues with that.
No. Go ahead. Look at that.
I'm just building off of whatever this is how I get through.
One of my favorite Irish whiskey, and one of the bottles on rotation at the Dark Matter Whiskey Club, which JB was like a regular member of. And Misha, did you come up at all for the Whiskey Club?
I think I missed that. I missed the Whiskey Club.
Oh no!
I definitely heard about the Whiskey Club, but I definitely missed it.
Well, hopefully for season 4.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Season 4.
So Mishka and I also worked together before this episode. He was played an amazing character on my series Bitten, and was so blessed to get another opportunity to work with him on Dark Matter. And we actually, after that, just a couple of years ago, we got to collaborate on a proof of concept that I was putting together for the Robert Sawyer novels I was pitching at the time. And we put together this great teaser that also Jodelle starred in. But I digress. It's so great to see you guys all again. And I wanted to also just bring up that it's very apropos that somebody brought up that question about the bridge of the Raza, because we were the first episode 3 seasons in to actually shoot a practical shot outside of the Raza, which ends the episode with Mishka looking out, contemplating his schemes and plans, and we had to get the production design team to finish the outside, so we had some frame to be around. I think it might have even wound up being a visual effect, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's amazing. This just goes to show sort of like when you bring in a new director with vision, this is the result. Visionary director JB Sugar.
Joe, what about this comment from Time Prophet? Is Mishka the Dr. Smith of Dark Matter?
Maybe someone else could answer that question because I have not watched Lost in Space. So,
okay.
And I don't think so. I mean, isn't
Dr. Smith's evil?
Kind of the bad guy?
Yeah, he's evil.
No, yeah, that's not him.
Well, I can tell you that I didn't trust his character at all. Like from the first minute, I was like, this dude is bad.
He's a little shifty.
This is some shifty dude. I don't know what's going on, but he's bad news. That's all I thought. The whole time.
I mean, he may have been bad news, but I think he was very endearing.
He was.
He
was too endearing. So I didn't trust him even more because he was too funny, and I was like, someone is this cute and too funny.
It's the smile. That's what does it. Never trust a smile like that.
So Mishka, is Adrian funny or is Mishka funny?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I feel like that character hit close to home on my funny side, or where I tap into humor and kind of like my little goofy self that I tap into, with my friends and things like that. So I think Adrian, I found it very suiting for the character of Adrian. So I do think Adrian is funny, but he's unaware of it. I think he's just himself. He's just this goofy guy. He's just himself. Yeah. He doesn't like to try hard.
Yeah. I especially love your we were watching last episode, you and Anthony, and kind of the repartee between you two, where there's that episode, there's that scene where you're both, after realizing you're caught in the time loop, you're in that mess hall and you're trying to explain to the rest of the crew, you're caught in the time loop. And I have about, I think it's like 3 minutes of outtakes of that scene of you and Anthony, continually starting and restarting that scene and unable to get through it.
I loved shooting that. That Anthony, I don't know, we clicked right away. Like it just kind of felt like Big Brother immediately. And he was just so nice. And I will never forget shooting that part. It was such a good time, and we could not hold it together. When you say 3 minutes, I'm surprised it wasn't more than that, because I remember we kept breaking in that part. We just kept trying to get it. It was really nice chemistry though, because it was just happening so spontaneously. That was a lot of fun.
I have a question, and I don't know if this was answered the last few times that I was here, because the first time that your character was introduced, I wasn't here. But Joe, is this whole storyline with Tabor gone missing, was that part of the actual story, or did something happen with the actor where you had to kind of on the fly replace that storyline?
It would have been nice to see Tabor again, but you know what? I kind of prefer the Adrian character.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yes.
Interesting.
That's where I come from. I mean, one of the things that was always important for me is the humor in the episode. So I needed, obviously, actors who could do humor, but I also needed a director who could deliver humor. And there are so many great humorous moments in this episode that, JB, like it always comes down to the timing. And sometimes, like, you'll watch an episode and you'll be like, sometimes it doesn't land and the actors deliver, but sometimes, like, the episode feels kind of like sluggish. And JB, kudos to you on this episode, because it's a very, it's a very funny, heartfelt episode, but I mean, it flies. Like there are so many like great moments. Like we'll get to the scenes later on with Adrian and Amber, but there's that, PJ was talking about that great one-on-one scene with the two androids.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. The other thing, though, too, was that as humorous as it was, the episode, it also has a lot of dark connotations to it because of what's happening with Four and him trying to, take over or him losing the battle and everything, and that whole what should he do? Should he rule through fear or should he rule through love? And like that kind of stuff was really serious. And then you had like the right kind of humor to balance that out as well. So that was really cool.
JB, it was a tour de force. I mean, not only in terms tonally, but in terms of sort of locations. I mean, I think off the top of my head, this episode probably had more locations than any other episode in the third season.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
We got to go outside in the forest and run around. There were a lot of firsts too. Like it was actually Android's first time playing breaking character and going into character too, which was a lot of fun.
I was going to bring that up too, because you did so many different aspects. Which part of directing do you like the best? The comedy sections, the serious sections, or is it just all a party for you? You got the whiskey for it, so I don't know.
No, it's honestly, I'm fortunate to have kind of worn many hats in my career, but the directing side of my muscle, as it were, is my most favorite place to be, and everything kind of is a means to an end. Some of my dearest friends are actors and writers, and to service their performances and be a kind of conduit to pulling the best of all worlds in terms of servicing ultimately a great story is just a great pleasure of mine, and combine that with the exercise of creating some dynamic visuals and camera movement, and it's really the pinnacle of everything we get to do as collaborators, because you're touching every department, from obviously the script to the art department to the actors, and then ultimately in post-production through the picture edit. Less so in TV as a director, but again, I've had experience as a producer, so I gone to see episodic TV all the way through the final stages and sweetening on color suite to the visual effects to the nuances on the mix stage, which is another favorite place of mine to be. So yeah.
And you're comfy in the editor's room, right? I mean,
yeah,
it's not always the case, and to be honest with you, some directors require a little more work than others. Because the way it works is the editor puts together their assembly, and then the director comes in and does their director's cut, which then goes to the producer, and they do their cut, and then they get the notes, and then they do their the final cut. But JB, again, what I was talking about, so the humor, it just kind of has to be tight, and your director's cut was actually, from what I recall, very tight.
Thank you, and yeah, I mean, the comedy is one of my favorite places to be, and I think one of the reasons why it's so respected in the culture of entertainment business is, like, drama sure is hard, and it's not an easy target to hit, but I would say comedy is even more nuanced and takes timing and a crafting of setup and payoff in a way that is a little more sophisticated. So that's a great compliment and a reason why I think Dark Matter as a property is so successful, because not only is the world of the mythology so robust and distinctive, but Joe's touch is just full of humor and lightness, and he knows how and when to use it. So,
has it been a while since you've acted, JB?
Many years. I think that's probably why I like directing so much, is because it scratches that acting itch that I definitely had at a younger age and in my upbringing in general. But all of that playing as an actor, but you don't have to remember the lines. It's like the best. Yeah, you don't have to like worry about how you look here.
I by the way, JB, every time I Googled you, it would come up I would put it JB Sugar, and Google would automatically fill in Daddy after Sugar. JB Sugar every time.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about, but
That's hilarious.
And I do want to, since Katie is not here, I do want to take the opportunity to ask Tink, because she's watching Dark Matter for the first time. What were your impressions of this episode, Tink? Joe appreciates the virgin response or feedback. What was your thoughts on this episode, Tink? Now that you're getting into Dark Matter, what were your thoughts on this episode that you're getting into Dark Matter now?
I loved it. Yeah, I loved it. Honestly, it was my very first episode. Loved it. It was inventive. It was writing. I truly enjoyed a lot of the dialogue.
Yeah, unfortunately, Tink, we're not hearing you. So maybe if you can turn off your camera, because we can't. Well, that's unfortunately.
It's tough to come in the middle of a season run, like the third episode, but glad you jumped in and enjoyed. Like I said, this was kind of like a frenetic episode, because I'm thinking, like, we've got the ship, we had the space station, we were out in the forest, where is that? Like, we shot that that kind of warehouse scene in studio, right?
Yeah, we converted. Actually, it was like the neighbors at the studio, and I think it was like a Costco site. So like there was some real like no-go zones in there because there was so much product in there, and like I think it was like a big negotiation. We had to like get a bigger space, so they had to relocate some product. But yeah, it was that warehouse space was super fun where we did the vault.
Yes,
which we built. So it was a full build.
And also some great guest stars in this episode. I mean, Anna Hopkins as Amber was fabulous, and she's always great, frankly, in everything she does. But if you guys are familiar with MMA, you might have recognized Michael Bisping as our villain.
Bisping.
Yeah. So what was he like to work with? Like both of you guys?
Yeah, it was. He's the UFC champ, so you got to be mindful of how you say things, and giving notes. Is a little bit different than normal actor notes, but he was so gracious and excited to be there, and he's worked a lot, I think, since then, and he's a professional athlete, so that type of training and dedication, and it takes a level of focus that I think really helped him on the floor.
Mhm.
I mean, clearly he wasn't as experienced and seasoned as like actors who had, you know, come through the ranks the way other thespians do, but you know, he had an unconventional path, and I think it was the idea that he would help bolster the audience and maybe even bring in some new people. But he was super fun to work with, and
Mhm.
I mean, Mishka, I don't know if you.
Yeah, no, he was great. He was such a nice guy. But I remember first seeing him because I had looked him up beforehand, and because I'm not huge on MMA, but I've watched like a fair bit of it, and then after watching some of his stuff, like so when I first met him, I was intimidated, like just like I mean naturally, right, which kind of worked anyways for the scene and everything. So I was like, this will work great. But he was like such a nice guy when you actually talked to him and met him. But yeah, he was awesome. He was awesome.
And we see that the episode starts out with 5 showing that she's learned something from 4.
Yeah, that was cool scene.
Yeah, we also get a bit of the Solara backstory, which was
That was a cool backstory. I was like, oh my god, that was cool. I like that you put that in the whole backstory was very interesting.
Mm-hmm. And you know, in terms of teaming, I always like the Solara Adrian dynamic, whereas basically he is full of humor and she is so humorless, you know, but funny in her kind of humorless way. And you know, it's just too bad that we didn't get a 4th season because there were plans to bring him back. What?
Is she into him? Like,
no, she is basically his bodyguard.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
like that's it.
yeah.
It doesn't go any further than that. Okay.
But I mean, she has a certain fondness for him that kind of belies her attitude. You know, she's
it seemed a little bit like she was into him, maybe a little bit, because she got all like annoyed when he would like, you know, want to go after that girl, and she was like, ugh, like
I think anybody would be annoyed, quite frankly. Yeah, I love that part when I'm supposed to go with 5 and she's walking with me, and then I'm saying, like, you know, that they don't trust her and that she needs to just try smiling more, and that part where she just tries to give that smile. Like,
yeah, that was funny.
I love that moment.
Mishka, you're very funny in a very subtle way. It's really, I think it's special. I think, yeah.
Thanks.
Her smile was hilarious. How many takes did that take to get that awkward smile?
I believe we did it in 5. I don't remember. The 4th take was great, but I didn't want more just in case it was going to be.
Just in case. Okay.
Yeah.
Better safe than sorry. Yes.
Yeah. I just want to say I felt very fortunate and like blessed in that episode, especially seeing that JB was going to be the director because we had worked before. So I already knew I was going to feel like just at ease. It was just going to make it that much easier. So it was, so
prominent. I mean, it was, you were driving the whole A story. That was, you know, we got to really play.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean, though. You gave me like so much room to play, so it was a lot of fun. So I felt like there were no borders. I could just kind of, you know, feel it out, figure it out, and just play with, you know, whatever happens in the moment. And that's what you always want as an actor. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
I loved the android being badass again, and I love that scene where you're like in prison with 5, and you're just like, you kind of like at first you're nervous, and they're like, he's like, just give up anybody, and she's all nervous because she thinks like you're gonna be like, yeah, right here, you know, and you don't, and then you guys hear like stuff going on outside, and you're like, yes. Like they're coming to rescue us. But you don't really say that. It's just all in your expression. It was great. That was really fun.
Thank you.
And let me put up another image. And I think our Tink has a better connection now, hopefully.
I also liked 5's hairstyle in this because it was different. So she like straightened it.
Yeah, it's like she's going kind of quasi undercover, right?
Yeah.
Tink, while I put up the next picture, do you want to finish your thought on your impressions of Dark Matter as a first time watcher? Oh, this is not going to work today. Okay,
Joe, the other build and location for this episode was the space station.
Yes, yes. And where did we build that? Was that on like again on our second stage?
Yeah, that was the second stage, and then we did the whole garden set too, but maybe that wasn't for this episode.
Oh, that was the Sarah's room, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got some shots of you with Anthony. We save those for later. So I wanted to mention like another a guest star was Sean Bell, who played Nemec, the guy who puts a squeeze on Five and Adrian when they enter the space station. I really like his performance.
He was so fun. Yeah.
Had you ever worked with him before? Either?
No, he was like one of those actors that you pray for when you're when you get it's such a fast process with episodic guest star casting, and like you get maybe five actors you get to really look at. That's because the casting directors have pre-screened and done their diligence. But you see the guy, he's like, oh my god, he's the guy.
Yeah, he really made a meal of that performance, and like in a really great way. I really, thought he did a great job.
Yeah, those were really fun scenes to do.
Yeah.
You have Jadel and Mishka. Everything else is great.
Yeah, I love that whole part.
Yeah.
Any reason you named him Nemec? Just
well, after it's no secret, Corin Nemec. Former Stargate actor. I just thought, he has like a great name that would also make a great, potential first name sometime in the future. And one of his great grandchildren will be Nemec. Who knows?
When Joe says "who knows," it's the wheels are turning.
Yeah.
And that was a very cool space station, by the way. By the special effects crew.
Ian Brock in the art department. I mean, one of the rooms was like super small. I recall. I think that's where you guys were held. I remember walking in that first time, and we were like, "Holy smokes, this is gonna be a challenge." How many people are getting in here?
There's one set on this, and it's at the end of the episode, but it was one of my favorite that you guys did, period, was The Office. I can't remember the...
that was David Richmond Peck's, Commander Neiman's.
Right,
room.
Neiman, yeah.
Yes,
I love that room. I almost wish to reproduce it somewhere.
Yeah, that was a cool room.
What was that, JB?
So that was another new set that we...
Yeah, that had really the feel of like a Japanese hotel room, maybe one of those kind of like not quite a capsule hotel, but very kind of an efficient use of space.
Yeah, totally. That was a great set. I mean, Ian Brock. I don't know if you've had him on. But he's just such a brilliant designer. Such an asset.
Absolutely.
Also, speaking of assets, this beautiful space station, this new look space station, and kudos to Lauren Bancroft Wilson and our visual effects crew. But again, I keep telling everyone that I watch the episodes. I watch the director's cut and the various producers' cut, and then I'll send in the mix. But I rarely watch the finished product because, once we do the mix, then I'm on to the next one. So I have to say, this visual effects shot, this establisher actually kind of surprised me in how gorgeous it is. With kind of like right at the forefront, you see kind of these kind of the lights moving on the space station up front. Is just a really beautiful establisher.
Absolutely.
The other thing that I was really impressed with regards to the special effects was that shot of Zyron, like in the middle. I think it was the middle of the episode. It was at night, and it was just such a gorgeous shot of Zyron. And I was like, wow! It just seemed like your budget had gone up or something. I was like,
it actually did go up.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes up every season, but one of the great things about working on a sci-fi series is you have those shots that you create in the first season and you bank them, and they become in essence, kind of sort of library that you can go to and you can sort of improve upon. But at the meantime, since you have those assets, you can, add further assets. So, really as sort of the series goes on, you notice a marked improvement in the visual effects, even though we weren't, I think we only received a nomination for one season, which is bullshit. But I mean, I won't get into that now because I've already gone off on that. Yeah.
Jeff Beeler, thank you. 2 and 3 buddy vibes, planned or did it just happen, Joe?
I want to say kind of both, but I mean, really, as I often say, you write it on the page, and then, the actor and the director bring it to life. So it really is a sort of a collaborative process. So I will say both.
And of course, they were a couple in the alternate universe. Or they are a couple.
Yes.
Now, can I ask how did the three, like, how did JB meet Joe and how did Mishka meet Joe? How did you guys connect for the first time? Maybe ask JB first. How did you guys connect for the first time?
With Joe?
With Joe.
Well, I actually first met Joe during the second season of Dark Matter. And that was a fortuitous introduction via, I guess, Norm Denver, and Dark Matter inherited a lot of the key crew from Bitten, including the line producer and the AD team, and Norman was kind enough to advocate for me to come in and do some second unit for the second season, and so I guess that was kind of my audition for you, Joe, and then. I say this with all sincerity is a preamble for the pitch that Joe and I are currently going out with, and the way Joe runs his show is so menschy, to use a Yiddish term, that it just I was immediately taken with him, and the fact that we're working on a show together now is a product of that, because I proactively tried to find something to do together, and fortunately we found something. But Joe,
well, I mean, I thank you very much. I go on saying it's kind of a lesson I learned on Stargate. Then I went on to another show, and it was brutal. And so when I set up Dark Matter, it was with a mind to doing what we did on Stargate and just create a very positive and supportive on-set environment. And so basically working with people like JB and Mishka, who once you're a part of the family, you want to work with these people again because it's such a kind of a positive experience, and that's what's so a crucial part of this job that a lot of people overlook, and sadly it's not typical of the industry. So I thank you, JB.
Gotta keep them close. Gotta keep the good ones close.
And Mishka, I'm sorry. How did you connect with Joe for the first time?
With Joe, well, after I got, the audition after I got casted, and I'll never forget, the first day on set, and then Joe pulls me to the side after I think a take or two, and then just kind of gives me a couple words just to kind of take the character into a different direction, and in my mind, I still remember that moment because I was like, all right, man, don't mess this up. Like, it was, you kind of get nervous at a certain point. But yeah, no, it was like just the perfect thing to say to me at that moment. It just switched it into the right direction, and I completely fell in love with the character. So I don't know, it was just a nice way to kind of start this, relationship. It was great. So you just came up there and told me what you wanted to see, and thankfully I hopefully gave you what you wanted, and
it was absolutely what I wanted, and it's just so tough sort of when you come in kind of cold to a show in its second or third season, and yeah, I think we had the initial conversation. It was like a brief chat, and then from then on you just flew, and like I said, I just love the character just because I found him incredibly endearing, and again, kudos, because that had a lot to do with your performance.
Thank you. No, well, also the writing, definitely a big part of that was the writing, and the cast as well. Like just not even just the cast, the entire Dark Matter family, like it was,
Yeah.
still to this day, like one of the easiest sets I've ever been on.
Yeah.
Just how, yeah.
And it's universally been said by every guest that's been on this program.
It's true. It's 100% true, though. Like, I can't explain it.
As JB said, that crew was his crew from Bitten. That pretty much moved
I knew a
en
lot of
masse
them already.
from Bitten to Dark Matter.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
And Mishka, there's a couple of people asking, do you ever want to do anything behind the camera, such as direct? Is that a goal of yours?
I don't think directing is in my future. I don't think so. not yeah, I don't know about directing. No, maybe producing, but yeah, I can't say for directing. I don't think I have the right, I don't even know what the word is. It's just you gotta think so fast on your feet and be able to juggle so many things at the same time. I have just such respect for anybody who directs. It's been like JB, like it's too much. Give me some lines.
Yeah, JB, what was your first directing gig? Like, how did you?
Producing was the segue for me into directing. I did the master's program at AFI, and I was in the producing program. But it's a very story-driven one, so that's very good. And my thesis film was actually a story that I wrote and got to develop with the screenwriter. But I had graduated already, and in the year after, I was starting my own company. But a DP that I had come to know, who was the year behind me, had to do his project was this MOS project without sound, without getting too technical. But we got to do some spec commercials that I got to direct. So I did a spec commercial for Puma and a spec commercial for this like online delivery company that doesn't exist anymore. So super fun. But so that the whole filmmaking process and at AFI really just made me fall in love with the whole process. But directing became something that I wanted to pursue, and finally got a chance to do it professionally on a series that I was originally brought up to Canada to be involved with, called The Collector, which was another Canadian
shot in Vancouver,
natural series shot in Vancouver. Joe and I never met, even though we were both kind of sharing a lot of keys and a lot of people, and but wasn't meant to be till our Toronto days. And so the first time I got to direct was on the Collector, and we did 3 seasons of the show. We did about 40 episodes, and I directed 8 of them. 6 of which were in Budapest, so I got to direct a lot. Where we took blocks of 3 episodes to Hungary in seasons 2 and 3, and we got to prep them like a movie and then shoot them back to back to back. So the rest is history.
How was the food in Hungary?
You know what? It took a while to find where to go, but it was not the best. They're not
really
vegetable forward. Eating the rainbow is difficult there. But I learned to develop an affinity for some
schnitzel,
goulash.
Right.
Oh, I love goulash.
Yeah, goulash. Great.
Who knows what the future holds?
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, so The Collector was the first kind of professional directing career, paid, I guess.
She was so great in the scene. I love this whole thing.
Oh, yeah, Zoe can do it all.
This face looks like the cat that's getting ready to play with the meal.
She was so excited. Zoe was so excited because she loves playing Android and is so good at it. But there's a vocal range that she had to stay in, and to actually get to come out of her shell for a little bit. She was so gung ho for this whole sequence, and it was so fun to do.
And it's a kind of fun back and forth with, I think the actor's name is Daniel Fanaberia, who's kind of obviously smitten with her, and then she punches his lights out at the end of the sequence
with a great line. That was so great.
Yeah, and I love that shot, which is basically the fist coming at camera and blacking it out.
Yeah,
that was so good.
Oh, yeah, there he is. And a little visual effects magic right there.
Yeah, that's just a piece of plexi turned into magic.
And I love that shot too, Joe. I tried to get, I tried to get that shot because I love that shot too, with the android just punching into the camera.
Yeah. There's a lot of actually interesting shots in this episode. Like this one where she's punching. There's a shot from inside the, when they finally get access to Tabor's lockbox and they open it up.
Right.
You get the shot of them looking in. So basically, you got I remember there was much discussion about that one particular shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that shot.
And thanks, John Burns. Joe, it's funny that the android talks about kicking Marcus's butt and asks, "You remember that, right?" Because she doesn't literally remember kicking. Because she doesn't literally remember kicking Marcus's butt.
Yes, that's true. She does not remember, but she knows she kicked his ass. I won't let him forget it.
Thank you, John Burns. Appreciate that. Thank you, John Burns. Yes, very fun. It was a very funny episode, and dark at the same time, like Nina was saying. It's both. It's I love. I one of the things I love about Dark Matter is the contrast.
Kind of a sad episode for Adrian in the end, but
he deserved it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Funny guy doesn't get the girl. Come on.
Yeah.
He should have seen it coming. I mean, come on.
How did he see it coming? He was,
naive. Yeah.
Now, let me ask the panelists: Does anybody here? Don't you guys kind of miss 4 now that we just have Rio to deal with?
Yeah, of course.
Did you
I
miss
missed
4?
4 from the very beginning. I was
Nina
like,
almost stopped watching the show.
I did. I was like, this. But yeah, like I miss him, and I kind of, but at the same time, I love that kind of like duality that he's forced to see within himself. And I love how Misaki was like, "What are you listening to, a school teacher for war advice?" Like I was like, yeah, like it makes sense because he is a compassionate guy, and he wants to rule through the niceties and be known as a good king and a good emperor or whatever. But that those kind of things, they don't win wars, like especially like wars at such a great extent. So you have to make sacrifices.
Isn't her character awesome? Just really great at pouring salt on the wound.
Really, she really is.
And it's funny. It's funny because Ellen is actually an incredible sweetheart and very, very unlike.
She's
Misaki.
like a good actress for sure. Because I want her to die still. I was like, is he going to kill her or what? Like,
and then on the flip side, there's Andrew Moody, who plays Teku, who's actually a very thoughtful, kind of well-spoken guy, and he's actually more like Teku than definitely Ellen is like Misaki.
That's for sure.
That's funny.
JB, do you want to address this question to you about what genre you prefer to work with?
I mean, that's you
kind of touched on it, but
yeah, I mean, I just directed my first like bona fide comedy, a movie called Faith Heist, which just premiered in the U.S. So I definitely I love the comedy, but I think I'm more, and something that I said earlier I can lean into more. It's about story, and I think the genre the stories rather transcends the genre. So it's more about what moves me emotionally and has something to say. And so I'm pretty agnostic when it comes to genre, even though I think my career's been weighted a little heavier in the supernatural sci-fi space. But even those storytellers that I've worked with and showrunners and writers like Dagan Fricklin, who was our showrunner on Bitten, didn't really come from a sci-fi background at all. And the only way that great sci-fi works is by writing great characters and telling great stories using those characters. So I know that's a totally invasive answer, except for comedy, yet anything.
I have not seen Bitten, but I am going to go check that out, JB.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Mishka, you're given the same type of situation. You got the opportunity, equal pay, equal hours, doesn't matter. Good guy, bad guy, sci-fi or drama.
Oh, that's a tough one. Bad guys
throw in comedy too. Sorry.
Okay, throw in comedy as well. That's a tough one. Bad guys are a lot of fun to play, but oh man, it's tough. Comedy is probably the most fun because I mean, let's be real. Like you're just having like a blast with people. Like you're just filming. It's just fun no matter what. But my dream role, or something that I would really love to do, because I'm into true crime a lot. Like I'm a big true crime fan. And one movie that I've always loved was like the Zodiac. And I've always wanted to be like just a cop, a detective trying to take down like the serial killer. So basically, I guess I'd have to go with the drama, even though that's more of a thriller. And I guess that's a good guy because I'd be the detective.
You're right.
Even though I'm more likely to be cast as the bad guy or something else.
It's interesting what we were talking before about the Dr. Smith question. It's not that you're a bad guy, but there's like you do a duality real well. That duality you do real well.
I see this question here. Do you have to have a sense of humor to direct comedy? I think you have to think you have a sense of humor. Whether you do it well or not, that's not is objective. If the people that are watching it also align with your sense of comedy. So, yeah, I think you absolutely have to have a sense of comedy for sure.
I think you would make a really good bad guy in a sense that like you play the good guy because you have such a sweet face and it'll throw everybody off, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, no, he was the murderer the whole time.
Right. Yeah,
Like
that works.
If Mishka starred in the movie Clue, like he would end up being the guy who did it in the dining room with a knife. Jeff Beeler, thanks. Question for Joe. I take it. 2-3 Android love triangle coming in seasons 4 and 5. Joe.
Love triangle, probably not. Although I did have something planned for 3 in Android, but who knows? We'll save it for the miniseries, if and when it comes.
Yeah, I sensed something between 3 and Android too. I was like, oh, what's going on over here?
When she walks into the mess hall with the red dress, he reacts.
He
Clearly
did.
reacts, yes.
And I think we can test Joe. We can test the audience to see whether they've watched the episode or not. So when 2 here gets transported back to the Raza, I'm just kidding. But yeah, this is the force field. Yeah, the force field was very cool.
And
of course,
the android, the actor's name is Michael Ayers.
He was great.
He was
really
good. I mean, playing an android is tough. And he did it. I mean, he played it obviously, kind of like devoid of emotions, but again, sort of conveyed a, you kind of felt, a certain sympathy for this android.
Joe, I got the feeling. Let me put his picture up. I got the feeling when I was watching it that he had like been pulled out of some classic sci-fi from way before. It was a really good scene between him and.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And how she reaches out to him, I thought was very.
And then 3 gets impatient and just stuns him, and down he goes.
I feel like if 3 was there, then he would have been like stuffing his pockets with as many things as was around that area, because there was like cash and I mean, there's all sorts of stuff in there. I was kind of surprised that 2 wasn't doing that because I guess she's not as crazy about eating as she used to be.
I think she was a little more practical and kind of wants to find that
the data chip.
Yeah, the data chip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
but you're there. That's Tabor's stash. What the heck, you know? Little payback.
Exactly.
Get a bigger cut of the deal.
Well, I think one of the nicest props to come out of this episode were those Lenari death masks.
Oh
I
yeah,
thought those were
yeah.
pretty cool. That basically,
those look cool.
yeah,
Those were pretty.
Mishka held up in one.
Which were 3D printed, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah,
That's cool.
Really?
You guys,
Yeah.
you guys 3D printed so many things. Like I was shocked by
Yeah.
it.
So the art department got the
Wow.
3D printer in season 2 and just went crazy.
Oh man.
I
I
feel
thought you
like
guys-
if 3 was there, he would have left with one of those masks, like for sure. He would have just been like, okay, I'm going to take one of these.
4 needed one.
Yes.
That's true.
And again, Joe, I think what was great about this scene for me is that Zoe's character comes full circle, and now she's the one inspiring others.
Yes.
Great.
Yes. That,
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
amazing.
It kind of went to something that we had kind of planned for season 5. But in any case, we'll, like I said, we'll save it for the miniseries if and when.
Take that. Now that we have you back, do you want to finish your thoughts on your first impression of Dark Matter? And Joe did say it is kind of hard to come
Hopefully
in.
you can hear me.
I can.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. Hopefully you can hear me. It's still cutting out a lot, but I truly enjoyed the episode. It was great to see the android really come alive in her endeavor to entrap the other one. She wasn't really trying to. I mean, I loved where she threw it down on him. Because what was it? 3 was like, well, he can make the decision later, and she was like, okay. I thought that was pretty brilliant.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
And JB, what was your favorite? Let me ask you this: what was your favorite, and what was your most difficult part in shooting all this? If there was
You
one,
mean the episode in general?
the episode in general.
Oh man, honestly, don't even. It's hard to. I mean,
Recall.
yeah, because I mean, I'm left with nothing but good memories and feelings about the experience, but I don't particularly remember anything that stood out as extra difficult, which is probably one of the reasons why I wanted to continue working with Joe and others.
And again, I mean by difficult, I just mean maybe I don't mean difficult, people wise. I meant just in difficult technically, or I don't mean Mishka was being difficult.
Yeah, every day I always am.
I actually wound up directing a lot of scenes, like leftover scenes from other episodes. So I'm not even sure if this was in this episode because it's been a while since I've seen it. But when Anthony Lemke's character is waking up from one of his dreams, and I have this shot of him in bed, and he gets up. Was that in this episode?
Well, that was 304, I think. So the previous episode. Yeah.
So that was the most difficult thing about shooting. It was still in the block that we shot this episode, so technically it's still within the frame of the episode, but it was so difficult because of just camera positions, and we were laboring over how to get the camera over, and this is where collaboration really just comes to the fore when our key grip came up with this brilliant idea, not for some complicated rigging and dolly and you banging and all this stuff. The simplest fix was, instead of playing the scene with Anthony on the bed, like he would be in real life, all we did was put the bed up vertically, and then he just stood up, against it, and it solved our problem and made everything go so quickly. And it was just like one of those moments when a 3-year-old solves a problem that
Brilliant. Just make sure those sheets are nice and tightly tucked in.
But that's just often I think the most difficult thing. But the best thing was just working with this enormously talented group of actors. And I think one of the more intimidating things on a TV schedule is shooting, 7-handers when you got your whole cast in one room around a table.
Mm-hmm.
And like the opening sequence, with the whole cast there, and we were able to create some movement and dynamic and, make it feel dynamic, but, trying to, and I think we shot those scenes like up front in the schedule, which was, me getting, familiar with the cast for the first time. Cause as a director, you're a guest, right? On their stage. So it was a tremendous challenge and in the end, great experience to get to work with this enormously talented group. And thankfully, MISHKA and I having had worked together was a great mitigator of some of those challenges and those nerves for me. And it just wound up, after the first take or the first day, it was just like, all downhill from there.
Let me ask ADEGA, Dr. ADEGA, author, sci-fi author. ADEGA, what did you think about this? All the backstory that Joe's putting in for Rio and stuff. Did you appreciate it?
Oh, of course. No, Nina had brought it up before. The interplay. It's basically you have 4 with the good angel on one side and the bad angel on the other side, and you're put right in the middle of a difficult circumstance where both are right and both are wrong. It was a beautiful play. I thought it was great. Plus, it gives more meaning to each one of those characters that he brought in. You could see the disappointment. I don't remember his name, the school teacher.
Teku.
Yeah, when things fell apart on his plan, he was such a great actor that the gut response, you could see him acting it out that, you know what, I failed. My advice was bad. This is a horrible thing. It was just, I loved every bit of it.
He is a great actor. Yeah, he really projects.
Andrew Moody.
Yeah.
Did you want to add anything to that, Nina?
Do you think that he's 4 is now basically kind of really blaming the Raza crew for what's happening and how he's losing the war because they took the blink drive away from him? Is that what's going on now?
Who are you asking?
You?
Me? Yeah, that's definitely what's going on. Okay. He's basically, he asked them nicely. They turned him down. He took it, again, in his mind, because he's trying to save the lives of millions of his citizens. They stole it back. So, it means war. He sent kind of the assassins after them. And we're building up towards an inevitable confrontation later this season.
I hate it, Joe.
Sorry.
Matt Ryan asked MISHKA, did you ad-lib anything that stayed in?
That's a good question. I don't know if I remember what might have been ad-libbed. Because I actually did watch it all back recently, and I was unsure as to what was. There were certain parts where I wasn't sure, but I was meant to play with the weapons, that part, but that was all just kind of made up in the spot, and we riffed and we just messed around and played around for that part. There were actually a couple of moments that I wish I had put in. When you think of something, you do a take, it went well, and then afterwards they got it. We're like, all right, we're good, we're moving on. And I'm like, oh, I remember this one moment specifically. It was, oh, right, it's in this episode. It was me, Melissa, and Anthony. And this is the part where I'm trying to get them. It's right at the beginning of the episode, and I'm trying to get them to come help me, basically, right off the top. And we're sitting at the table together. And I just remember sitting down, and we were just at this point, I just felt really comfortable with them, and we were just we'd done. I think we did two takes or 3 in total, but after we moved on, I remember talking to Anthony. I was like, oh, I really wish I had done that, because I had an impulse, but I didn't go with it. Silly me. Was because he was sitting there and he was drinking his coffee, and I wish I had taken his coffee and started drinking it. I just thought it was just one of those moments where, so there were moments where ad lib definitely happened. I cannot think of any particular ones, unfortunately, except for the ones that were planned, like the weapons and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that weapon scene was from last episode.
Yes.
And yeah, it was like unscripted. We're like, okay, Mishka, do something funny. Go.
That's like
No
the
pressure.
worst when someone tells you to be funny. You're like,
Right, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to do now. And then you're totally not funny anymore.
But he was funny.
Well,
I remember basically he was doing like trying a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
And sort of like uncertain, like, is it funny? And Ron Murphy was directing the episode. He's like, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah. But it's like the pressure's on when someone tells you, like, be funny. And you're like, okay.
It helped. The props helped because they had so many props there, and so many of them, like, I've never worked with or done anything with. So I just kind of went with that, and it worked out.
You were great. I didn't trust you at all because you were so funny. I was like, this guy. I'm not falling for this.
In response to Time Profit, the cast have their own changing rooms. Yes, they have their own trailers, or what do you call them?
Yeah, I guess so.
Trailers.
Yeah.
Cells? No.
Cells, yeah.
Release the actor.
Cleaning closets.
How much prep work was done for season 4? Asked Jeff. This is from a comment that Anthony made last week.
We were in the writers' room. We actually broke, I think, the first 4 or 5 episodes of season 4, and I think one episode was actually written before we got news of the cancellation. Alas.
And we have a lot of logistics questions for Joe today. But I mean, I guess it's. Do you want to answer this one, Joe?
How long did it take each cast member to get ready for their scenes? I mean, it really depends on the cast members. I mean, Mishka, what's your process? How do you prep?
I do my prep stuff before, knowing the lines and especially off the beginning, just figuring out the character as quickly as possible. And once you start working with the cast, the chemistry plays a huge effect, and for me at least, and it all comes naturally, to be honest. Like, especially with this one in particular, it just knowing the dynamics between my character and 3 or whatever. Like those are what helped me the most, because it informed my impulses into each scene depending on what's going on. But like the dynamic of Anthony's character 3 is big brother, and I'm little brother. That informed a lot of my choices when we were together in the scene. Like it really did, and it just kind of flowed naturally in that sense. We also, I mean, this is not the same for every show, but especially on Dark Matter, I remember if we were all together, especially those big group scenes, we ran a lot of our scenes beforehand. While they're setting up for a shot. We'll run some lines. It just helps. Helps you come up with some ideas or some choices, or knowing what some people might do in the scene and just playing off that.
Mm-hmm. And then from a production standpoint, well, one episode is shooting, the other one is prepping. So JB, as a director, you get at least 7 days to prepare.
Yeah, I mean the luxurious 7 days. Yeah, it's usually prep days are usually commensurate with shoot days. But to Mishka's point about just production, I mean, you'd think 7 days to shoot an hour-long show, a 44-minute and 37-second show, seems luxurious and gratuitous, but it actually takes a long time and to set up each individual shot. And the more complicated the shot, the more time it takes. And between shots is where actors get a lot of time to run scenes. And I often disappear after the blocking, especially if I know that the camera team is setting up the shot that I want. I'll go sit and work with the actors as much or as little as they want. Sometimes they want space to, get into their own headspace so they can muster the emotional connection that they need for the scene. And other times, there's an appetite to actually run it a lot and play, and then you can discover things even especially after you've blocked it. So now the actors know where they're going, what they're doing. It becomes complicated when you make a change after you've blocked it and you're running it, and go back to the floor but all in service of telling the best story possible. So if that does happen, which is rare, I would make sure that especially if an actor, it's important to an actor, that will make it happen.
JB, not to put you on the spot or anything, but if you had to take any of the characters and take them off into a different direction than they are right now, what would it be? What character would it be that you'd want to really take your own way, or what would you do with them?
Like within the context of the show, or
within the context of the show,
or within
the context of the.
Well, I mean, Roger is not 3, right? What?
6, yeah.
6. Sorry, Roger. So 6 is actually one of the other than Mishka was the only other actor that I had a rapport with and know personally, and funny enough, he was barely in the episode at all. He just has with fire. So I think if I had my druthers and could do a do-over with this episode, it would be to find a thread with him and to get to direct him in this world, because he's so talented and so much fun to work with. So I think that would be a place I would like to dive in deeper.
And here we see as well that we see the assassination attempt on Rio.
Sweat cam.
Yeah.
These guys love poison, huh? The Imperials love poison.
Yeah. Classic.
Misaki did it before.
Why didn't he just stand on the other side so she doesn't see him?
Well, then he would certainly look out of place with just him standing on that side while everybody else is standing on the other side.
If he was
he should have. I'm saying he should have stood on the other side of the line, because if he was first, then he would have killed him, no problem.
Yeah, but we wouldn't have any tension.
Yeah, I know.
And presumably, he doesn't get to choose where he stands.
Joe, can I ask why is this graduating class so small? Or these are the elite of the elite, I guess?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, basically, this is exactly that. It's like the cream of the crop of the academy. This is Tuesday's crew. Tomorrow's crew will be, probably twice that size. Who knows?
I wonder if they're still gonna have this handshaking ceremony after this now.
Yeah, he's probably gonna do away with between
that's
COVID and poisonings. It's
that's enough of that.
Yeah. The elbow bump
between COVID. Now, the actress who did this played really well as well.
Yes, Anna Hopkins. Really, really a strong actress.
And she's done a lot in The Expanse too.
Yeah, she's that's where I recognize her from.
But I loved Mishka's disappointment.
Just when you thought I was in.
Yeah.
I like when she went on this whole rant afterwards when she was busted, and she's like, I tried to, he was making me do it. I had to I had to make you trust me, blah, blah, blah. And then, that wasn't the case. And then in the end, she's like, shit.
Solara was having none of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, actually, at that point, Adrian had kind of figured it out, but just kind of let her kind of, go on and then kind of dig
deeper.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It was so funny though, because in the end she was like, shit. She knew she was busted. It's like, damn.
By the way, I do like this outfit, I have to say. Noreen Landry, our costume designer, did a nice job with your outerwear.
The
Yeah,
best.
The jacket.
Me too. I wanted that jacket.
You didn't
You
get
should
it?
That jacket. I should have asked for it. I never did.
You should have totally asked for it because
I should have. I love it. Like I look back at that, I'm like, I love that jacket. I want that jacket.
There's something that I noticed that, I can't remember. I always forget. Liddell, she is the only one. She's been acting longer than all of you, and she was the one who collected the most materials.
Yeah.
I gather that her experience taught her that if they don't say no and you like it, just take it with you.
It's better to ask for forgiveness than for permission.
I have an entire guest room full of props and dark matter costumes. I think I have all 5 outfits, android outfits. It's just swords. So, like I said, whenever we want to do the mini series, I'm ready to go.
There you go.
Do you have that jacket that Adrian wore?
Yeah, you got that jacket.
Sadly, you don't have that jacket, but I bet Noreen,
It's all good.
Could source it, or maybe it's somewhere in a closet in Jay
maybe.
Firestone's private showroom.
Yeah.
Joe, I had a few people in the chat this week were saying this was the MacGuffin episode.
Yes, I guess the MacGuffin being the file, but I always love those episodes where basically you're going from one place to the next, and sort of like you hit the dead end and it's like, oh, it's that's it, all hope is lost. It's like, well, maybe not. And then you go to the next one, it's like, well, now so we reached a dead end. It's like, well, actually maybe not. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. It makes me almost want to reach out and smack Adrian, because why don't you lay everything out at the very beginning instead of going from one to the next to the next?
Yes.
But he
all this time.
But he assumed it would be at that place. And then when it wasn't at that place, he's like, well, there's a chance you could be here. And then basically when it's not, and then that leads to the next.
But he should have said that from the beginning. Like, look, there's a possibility it could be in like 5 different places. We can start here.
I mean, what is he going to say? He's going to say basically the most obvious place is here. And you can't really say, but on the off chance that we get there and the space station is being blown to smithereens, I want to prepare you for the fact that there is somewhere else we can go. But we can talk about that,
That's true. That's
when we come to
true.
it. This is Ferris Core, the shipyard suggestion that they're building, and the ships are apparently out there somewhere. I mean, who knows what?
Is it implied, Joe, that maybe the ships that destroyed Rio's forces were these ships?
No.
No? Okay.
That has to be one of my, and I've mentioned this some of the earlier episodes when we were doing this. It's just one of my favorite parts about the way you write is that it doesn't end. There is always something that leads you to want to see the next episode. There's a mystery there, or there's a catch or a hook that says you gotta go and watch more. And with the 6 being fingered as a secret agent, with those ships missing, it's just like, oh man, gotta watch more. And I love that writing.
The show was always, when I wrote the scripts, I always designed it as a 5 acts and a tease. And so I always wanted to end the 5th act with a holy shit moment. And then you go to commercial for the tag. And then the tag also ends with another holy shit moment. So I want to end with those 2 back-to-back, moments that kind of compels the audience to check out the next episode. And sort of whenever I kind of design a show, like be it Dark Matter or Powder Mage, you always think big picture than small, sort of what is like that final moment that ends the season, that basically turns everything on its head. And in season 1, it was, season 1 starts with them discovering that they're criminals, and season 1 ends with them being hauled out to prison because one of their own turns them in. And that totally, upends the status quo. And it's the same thing with the pilot. At the end of the pilot, or the end of each episode, you want to end with one of those, holy crap moments. And kind of the same way the tease, you want to sort of end with a holy crap moments. It's just, it's type of TV that I like to watch. It just kind of compels you to keep watching.
Thank you, John Burns. And honey, yeah, I might borrow this. And the related question to that, thank you, John Burns, Time Prophet. Do the gun props ever go missing, Joe?
Nope. They're always in lockup. And actually, I have most of the guns, the handguns, except for Two's gun that actually I lent to a production that I still have to get back.
Oh.
Yes.
Do you have them, Joe? Do you have them on display, or do you just have them put away?
No, I haven't put away. I haven't locked up. Hang on, let me see if I can talk amongst yourselves. Let's see if I can. Oh, actually,
awesome.
We'll get the guns. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I think next time I'm
Tell.
gonna do the next panel in dressed up in one of the Android outfits.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do it.
Very décolleté. Let's see what goodies. Just bring that fishing, that little box. Oh, this is it. Oh, thank you. It's incredibly heavy. Let's see what we have here.
Thank you, Cardinal. Thank you for the support, my friend.
Okay, now this gun was
Ooh.
I think this was Three's gun. This one right here.
Nice.
And then, maybe not. This one, which I think is very similar. This one. This one's my favorite. Look at this.
Oh, this is cool.
Look at that. Yeah. Look at that. They're quite weighted. They're quite heavy.
That one's similar to the reproduction Matt put out last reproduction Matt Ryan put out, I think.
Yeah. Pills from the infirmary that are, I think, Tic Tacs.
Yeah.
It's multicolored Tic Tacs. I've got the upgrade chip.
Oh, it's the date.
Yeah.
It's the
Here
upgrade
we go.
chip. Oh,
That's
okay.
cool.
Yes.
Dr. Vinny.
What else? Oh, I'm rich.
Oh, the credit chips.
Yeah, JB, if we do Powder Mage, I'm going to be paying you in bars.
Okay.
All right. And here is. Yeah, see, this is
Ooh.
Rio's
Love
ring.
that.
Rio's ring.
Yeah. And this is the. You recognize this from the pilot. This was the. Oh, here we go. This was the necklace that one finds in his room that he ends up finding a duplicate of on the planet.
That's right.
We have here our puzzle box.
Ooh.
Rios.
And kind of the last thing here, I don't even know what this is. I mean, I have other stuff, but it's all packed away. It's one of these child-proof. Here, my wife will do the honors. Oh, I can't wait. What is in it? I'm sure it's going to be worthwhile. What? What's happening? It's empty. It's just a. I don't even know what this is.
It's like a case for some sort of
Something.
hard drive or something.
Hard drive?
It's the demo for the Raza's EP album.
It's the it's the android. The android's consciousness is backed up on that
Maybe.
hard drive.
Anyways, just some of the fun stuff. You know what? We'll take a day. We'll go. We'll do a tour of my guest room. Akemi's laughing because it's such a mess, and we'll make a day of it.
Oh wow, awesome.
Yeah.
By the way, I do want to thank you, Joe, for sharing that. That was cool.
No.
That was so cool.
I do want to say our friend Cardinal Sin has a great new channel you're going to want to sub, Cardinal, please put in your channel. I want to remind everybody in the chat, guys, we all grow together. Everybody who has a wrench, please go ahead and put it in there. And please don't forget to sub to Katie and Nina. On that note, I do want to ask, before we still have a little bit, but I do want to ask JB and Mishka, is there anything you guys want to get out there that you're doing? Mishka, is there anything you want to get out there? Do you have any? You don't have a Mishka YouTube channel, do you?
No, not anything that I professionally put stuff out consistently or anything like that. No.
And is there anything you want to? Anything you're working on? A couple of people ask, "What are you working on now?" For example.
At this moment, I'm doing an episode on a show called Pretty Hard Cases, which shoots here in Toronto. It's a CBC show. And the other thing I unfortunately cannot talk about is a video game, which I've had a blast working on. But
Oh wow!
the
That's
date
cool.
has changed. The release date has changed quite a bit because of the pandemic, so we'll see. But yeah, it should be out sometime soon.
So what are you doing? Like, are you a voice? Are you doing?
I've done some different voices on it. I've also done a fair amount of mocap as well.
Okay.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
And JB, what about you? Is there anything you want to? Is there any way the fandom can support you? Anything you want to get out there?
I mean, I mentioned earlier this movie that we shot during the pandemic in the fall called Faith Heist, which is currently only available in the U.S. On a network called Bounce, and that also has a streaming app called Brown Sugar, which is how I would prefer people watch it because the linear feed has commercials, and on Brown Sugar it's an app you can download. I think it's just a few bucks a month, but the first month is free. So I suggest just downloading it, subscribing, and then watching Faith Heist, and you can cancel or keep it, whatever. But yeah, Faith Heist is a action comedy that I'm pretty proud of. And Joe's mentioned a couple times that we're currently developing an adaptation of Brian McClellan's Flintlock Fantasy novel series called we're calling it Blood and Powder, but it's the Powder Mage universe. And if your fan base and people who are tuning in haven't heard of this property, you should definitely check it out because it's Mallozzi approved. And hopefully going to be coming to a screen near you sometime soon.
Yeah.
Wow,
That's exciting.
Yeah. Hopefully, it'll. We're just it's in infancy now. We're basically developed it. We're in the midst of starting to shop it, and hopefully this time next year we're in production.
Yeah.
What was the network again? That's not going to be on.
Oh no, we haven't sold it yet.
That one, yeah,
Oh,
we're
yeah,
just now pitching it.
Yeah.
and we
It will happen.
It will happen. We have some behind the scenes pictures that Joe gives us every week, and I just put up this last picture of Rio.
He's so mad,
Yeah.
angry.
Yeah. It's funny because Alex is kind of a goofball.
I know.
Again, sort of like an actor.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw he did a guest on the panel a couple of weeks back, and he's a lot more upbeat than Rio. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to work with him on Dark Matter, but when we ended up working not long ago on an episode of Letterkenny together, and
Oh, yeah.
he is an absolute goofball. He's hilarious. Great guy.
And let me put up the pictures that Joe has from behind the scenes. And I just want to say thank you, John Burns. Yes, one of Three's guns. I guess Joe, that third Three's gun,
Three.
one of those guns was.
He had two guns. Lulu and Pip.
I just want one of those guns because A, they're cool, and B, I can cosplay with them or something. That's cool.
And you can pistol whip your husband. If you ever get
Yes,
that
yes, that's
one.
awesome.
Yes. Because they're weighted. They have a lot of weight, I gotta tell you.
I wasn't gonna say that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yes.
What you do in your own privacy is, really, your business. So,
I want to ask, as we put up these new pictures from behind the scenes, I want to ask JB and Mishka to both answer this question. If Joe was cast as a character in Dark Matter, what would he be?
Oh man.
Oh man.
Who goes first?
That's not fair
No
because
pressure.
Joe is like every character.
Really?
A lot of people say villain. A lot of people say supervillain.
I was
When we
gonna
ask him
say
this
something.
question.
Can I say what I
Please.
think he would be? I think he would be one of those corporate heads, and he would be totally evil.
Yeah, he's got to be evil.
Oh, yeah,
I see evil too.
100%.
I don't know
Yeah.
why I see
You
evil.
get,
Yeah,
interesting. This is kind of a subconscious thing.
in
going
like
on.
the suit and everything. Like, remember that suit picture?
Yeah.
I was like, dude, that's like the Godfather. He's like,
That was my onset look.
Joe has an onset look, which is formal and commands the room and respect he deserves.
he's
to
gonna be
instill,
the Godfather of
Instill fear.
corporate heads.
instill fear in my cast and crew.
That's right.
Yeah.
See, I think Aisha had it right. I didn't agree with. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, ADEGA.
Oh, and I just when Aisha, she had mentioned that he would be like the hidden mechanic that they never know who's hiding out in the ship, and one day he pops his head out. Yeah, I've been here all along.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious.
That would be funny.
All right. There's.
Let me put
Oh,
this
cool.
up a little. Let me build this up a little
Here
bit.
we are.
Greg Wright and Joe Turner right there.
Yeah. There's JB calling the shots, so to speak.
Shouldn't the camera be over there?
Misha, how comfortable did you find those chairs?
Oh, they were super comfortable. I found them comfortable.
Really?
Did people not find them comfortable?
No, Anthony said the same thing, but they don't look very comfortable to me.
They don't look it, but they are. Trust me. It's easy
They
to
look
sink into
it.
one of those.
They look comfortable to me. They look extremely
Really?
comfortable. Yeah.
They don't look it to me, but I was very surprised when you sit in there. They're
Molded.
super comfortable.
Joe's going to send you one in the mail, Nina, so you can stream on it.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing. What is that stuff made out of? The one like in the background? The
Which
green
one? The
stuff?
screen?
Yeah. Like right
Ah,
behind.
sorry. 1 second.
I don't know. Could have.
Mishka.
I don't recall. I don't know how often we actually
They look
feature
like-
that.
That stuff looks cool.
It almost looks like pond fronds or some type of
Yeah, it's definitely a
plant.
stage.
Hmm.
It's deceiving because the stage has got the house lights up when in that shot.
Oh, look.
Such
Yeah,
a
We got the
director shot.
viewfinder up.
Candid. That was a candid shot, obviously. A little boombox on the.
Yes,
John-
exactly, John Burns. Exactly.
Yeah,
Chairman
I'm
of
on
the
board
board
with
of
that.
directors at Ferriscore. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I can see that. Thank you, John Burns. Absolutely.
JB fairly well dressed. The the dress shirt, semi-casual with the jeans.
Yeah. Thanks for noticing.
Yeah. Oh, this is JB's. No cameras on set.
Yeah.
This is what you were talking about, sort of the Anthony Natalie Brown scenes in the sort of garden of her mind, so to speak.
The Mind Palace, the Garden
Yes.
of Mind.
Yeah.
That's in the next episode, right? Or
No,
the
this
one
was
after?
this was the earlier
Last.
episode.
But I think
Oh.
there are scenes I think in other episodes. That
Yes. Yeah. You're right. So runs through season 3.
Cool.
Oh yes, setting up in the forest. It's always tough actually shooting outdoors, although it wasn't as bad in Toronto. I remember in Vancouver, I mean, one day you get rain, one day you'd get snow, one day it would be sunny and dry, but mostly rain in Vancouver.
But mostly
Here was just
rain.
the cold, yes. But here actually was actually cold, although by this point, I don't know if this episode was actually very cold. Do you remember it being cold?
I think we got pretty lucky because I don't remember exactly what time of year would we have shot this. I think it would have been like, was it like February?
Yeah, I feel like it's
I think
late
it was
February.
Yeah.
So I mean, there could have been 3 feet of snow there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see any frost on the ground.
No, this was like an unusually warm.
Yeah.
Mind you, the people look all freezing because
Yeah, I mean,
look at those outfits.
Joe, we get this question a lot about, is it possible to send Joe stuff to get signed?
Yeah, I get this question a lot, and I always find it weird to sign stuff. Like, I mean, I've done like a couple of cons where I've used sort of with friends, just because I've kind of gone, and people are like, how much for an autograph? And I'm not an actor, so I just found it kind of weird. And then just kind of so I mean, at the end of the day, if I happen to run across you at a con or on the street, I would be happy to sign something for you. Just basically signing something and kind of sending it out feels a bit, I don't know, labor intensive.
So if you were gonna come to Cancun and bring me one of those guns, are they gonna stop you at the airport? Like, what are you doing?
They would definitely stop me at the airport because they look like real guns.
You're in Cancun, Nina?
Yeah, I ran away from Vancouver because I was sick of the rain and cold, and I lived there for like 20 years of my life, and I was like, you know what? Time for some sun. And then I didn't go back. That was pretty much it.
What's really great is that if we ever go to Cancun, we have somewhere to stay. Amazing.
And I can take you all to all the cool secret places that people don't know about. Not touristy places.
Are you like a Mexican resident or just? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I do think Joe did understand that, Cardinal. I think he's like, if he opens that Pandora's box, I think he'll get swamped. Is what I think, right, Joe?
Yeah, I think so.
But I did want to follow up on that, Joe, because you said that you guys haven't done many conventions with Dark Matter, and you said you're open to doing something in the near future, or the future.
To be honest with you, I think conventions are more sort of an actor thing. When I go to like conventions, if there's something going on in Toronto, I usually go as just kind of like a big comic book fan who will go there and maybe pick up some supervillain statues. That's kind of my con presence. Whereas someone like Mishka, I mean, he was what was your character's name again in The Boys?
Shockwave.
Shockwave. He deserves his own action figure, for God's sake.
Do people come up to you and they're like, "Oh my God, are you Shockwave?"
I've gotten it a few times, yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
There was a fan who actually did an action figure. I don't know. He has an action figure of a lot of the characters, and he was on his Instagram, and he did one of me, which was really cool.
That is very cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
If I get my own action figure, I'll know I've made it. That's gonna be for me. Basically, it'll be all downhill from there.
Oh my goodness.
And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, let me just put up a picture of Mishka with that.
Shockwave.
Yeah.
It was a cool outfit, I have to say.
That costume took a long time for them to make.
I heard actually the cost of those costumes were insane.
And it was crazy too, because in season 1, I had like 9 fittings. They got it all right, and then the season 2 they had to where they left it got moldy. and so they had to redo the whole
Oh, no.
man.
season 2. Yeah. I was like, whoa. It did turn out better in the second one in terms of comfort, but it was, crazy.
Keep those glasses.
Yeah.
Did they make those glasses for the show?
No, they ordered
found
them and then they kind of they found them and
Oh,
they swapped some stuff out.
Yeah.
I think it was the visor they'd swapped out.
Man, you should have kept those shades.
I should have.
They're a look.
And I did want to ask you about this, Mishka, because I found a lot of artwork. Is this fan stuff?
Yes, all fan stuff. They've done some really cool stuff with it. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
So impressed by the drawings of the fans.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's been pretty crazy. That one's so good. So cool.
And let's see, the rest of the pictures that Joe shared are the following. Okay.
I haven't seen a lot of the boys. So how many episodes are you in? Are you one of the main cast?
No, not one of the main cast. Just featured throughout here and there. I can't remember the episode numbers.
But you're in multiple episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I come in and out.
Cool. I definitely have to watch it.
You should. Well, this was that room that we were talking about that was so small.
It looks
JB's
deceivingly bigger than in this picture than it is. Deceptively.
It does, yeah.
It looks definitely small.
Jodelle, bottom right, and an exhausted JB taking a break from the grueling schedule.
What the hell, you spend a lot of time on your feet.
Yeah.
I do want to make a comment. Like, there is a lot of Joe. The reason fans want to have you sign or connect stuff or see you at a convention. I mean, it's just because they really appreciate you. But I do want to point this out that Joe is probably one of the most accessible creators online that you can interact with online. Tweet, comment, share, etc. So he's there.
Yeah, find me on Twitter. Very Indestructo, of course.
See, it's such an evil name too.
There's I'm not sure which gun that is. There's Jodelle with her showing off.
Looking death with a smile.
It looks like the gun you held up, the one that you turned around. You were like,
yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I want that gun. It looks dope.
We were joking around last Thursday, Joe, reviewing the Orville episodes that the Dr. Finn on the Orville has green hair as an homage. I don't think it's an homage to 5, but we just noticed that she had green hair.
5's hair is almost teal.
Yeah.
Oh, there's first AD, Josh. Who, did he work with you on? Unbitten?
Josh Gray and Chris Binney, the two ADs.
Yeah.
Just super pros.
Yeah. I remember actually his contribution to the Whiskey Club was this really weird what is his background? Is it Czech or something?
I'm not sure.
And he brought in this liqueur that was kind of unreal. But it's always nice to try something new, especially when it comes to alcohol.
And
which reminds me, I'm gonna make that pineapple casserole that you pinned.
Oh my God, I'm so going to make that weird pineapple ham barbecue thing.
Those look disgusting to me. That's why I posted them. Speaking of posting, here, look at I think I showed this picture last week, but this is just a great example. Here's you and Anthony yucking it up, while in the background, Jodelle's having none of that, right? She basically just tuned you guys out in his video book.
I remember that. Just reading. I love it. That's great.
Yeah. Either reading or napping. That was Jodelle.
Yeah.
Joe,
what was she reading? Like her lines or like actual books?
No, it was actual book.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Jodelle was off book like the first time she read the script, probably.
Yeah.
I see a photo expo in your future, Joe, just with Jodelle pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact about
Valerie.
Jodelle, I did say that I hadn't worked with any of the other casts before Dark Matter, but it's actually not true. Jodelle was in The Collector, and The Collector was a show that every episode was about a different client of the devil who had sold their soul for 10 years of some whatever wish they wanted, and the devil was a sporting one and would always manifest in different form. And Jodelle, I think at the age of something like 8, was played our little girl devil, and she appeared in several episodes and was
she started off. I think she started acting when she was 2, and the bulk of her roles when she was a young kid was just creepy ghost girl, creepy demon girl, creepy satanic girl, and she loved it. I mean, even to this day, I remember she would get like fan mail, and when people would say, "Oh, you know, you're cute or you're beautiful," she'd be like, "Ah," and then when someone was like, "Oh, you're so creepy," she'd be like, "Yes." She would love to be known as the creepy girl.
That's funny.
And this picture is, I mean, usually like every every morning, director and the crew would get in early while the actors are getting their makeup done. And whenever we do like a mess hall scene, you get to kind of sit around the table and chat before the start of the day. And this was the team.
Yeah, that's Norton Denver, the line producer. We got Craig Wright, the DP. Chris, our AD, and what was our key grip's name again?
Vinny and
oh, he's such a good guy.
Yeah.
He moved to Vancouver.
Towdy.
What was it?
Chris Towdy.
Towdy.
Yeah. Did he move to Vancouver?
I think so. Yeah, right after this show, I think.
Mm-hmm. Remember, he's a big dog guy. Him and his wife rescued a bunch of dogs.
And Time Prophet, there were a couple episodes that were kind of dark. And we reviewed one on the week of Halloween, by the way, from season 1.
Oh, did you?
Well, with you, Joe. We reviewed that the zombie one.
The zombie one, yeah. I don't know if it was that creepy, but we thought of doing a darkish horror kind of Dark Matter story. Work as a Ship could really be the star of the show here. Yeah, I mean, I like sci-fi horror, like Event Horizon. I know it's a movie that doesn't get that much love, but I thought it was.
I love that
creepy.
movie.
Yeah. And even though, I mean, I considered Alien the first Alien movie in the series kind of a cross between horror and sci-fi, very much.
Oh
so.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The second one's like action, sci-fi.
Yeah, but I do kind of like the premise of horror on a ship, because you're on a ship, you're in the middle of nowhere, you ain't going anywhere with whatever, So, JB, Mishka, if you want to, think of our next show, horror, ship set, something for after Powder Mage.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're doing Santa in space with me as the elf after Powder Mage.
Right. Okay. Of course. Yes.
Yeah, you already have a project.
Yeah.
Space Christmas.
Yeah.
And I do want to put up a picture before we wrap up. I do want to put up a picture of what JB was talking about. This is correct, right, JB? I do have the right image of the Faith Heist poster. Let me just make sure I do. This is correct, right?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Hey, is that Jonathan? No.
Jonathan Langdon, yeah, of course. Jonathan Langdon from Hulu's
Utopia Falls.
Utopia Falls.
Jonathan is a brilliant actor, and so a very funny actor as well.
Honestly, he was born for this role. He just shines in it, and his improv chops and his comedy timing and his physical comedy and his ability to bring it all back down to the kind of relatable, dramatic stuff. Like he's the real deal. Can't say enough about him.
And just to remind everybody, this is through the Bounce app, right?
Well, Brown Sugar is the app. and then Bounce is the broadcaster, the
excuse
TV
me,
channel.
yeah.
Yeah, but Brown Sugar is their app, and that's Eden Cupid there on laying down low. She's on the Umbrella Academy for any Umbrella Academy fans. And Dalmar Abuzaid with the golf ball thrown up. He's CSA award-winning actor from Am with an E. He's fantastic.
Oh, I love that show.
Yeah, he was also on Degrassi, The Next Gen. Yeah,
Just
amazing.
fun.
Yeah, super fun.
Well, I want to ask JB and Mishka if there's anything you guys want to share. I asked you before, but is there anything you want to make sure that you get anything out that you want to get out to the audience? Mishka, are you on Cameo, Mishka, by the way? Are you doing shout outs on Cameo?
I am not Cameo. I've heard of it though. I'm so bad with like anything social media or anything online. What is?
I know
Cameo?
he's hardly on Twitter. I'm amazed that I was
know.
able to actually land him for this.
It's like
He's
got a busy life. He's got a busy life.
I try.
It's an app like where instead of you signing an autograph, people give you a shout out.
Got you. Okay. I'll look into that. I mean, yeah. I mean, that sounds fun. But I have not. I'm not on it. No, I had not heard of it until now.
If a fan wants you to say happy birthday to their spouse.
I was going to say basically,
Gotcha.
I'm going to wait until he comes on, and then when October swings around, I'm going to ask for a Mishka birthday shout out.
Sounds good.
$50, but well worth it. Well worth it.
Something that probably isn't evident, or maybe you guys all guessed that both Mishka and I would be dominant basketball players.
Yeah.
One of the things I miss the most, and because of this horrible virus that's affected everybody, we haven't been able to play hoops. And Mishka and I have played hoops together several times, and
we have
a lot. And hopefully we can get on the court someday.
Yeah, man. Fun times, man. I'm always down to play ball for sure.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully with the vaccinations, hopefully everything will be better off soon. Things are improving everywhere. Well, not everywhere,
Except Canada. But
Joe, I will give you the last word.
Well, once again, thank you to our lovely panelists. Thank you to our equally lovely guests. It was a delight, to get JB on here. Because like I said, I mean, he's a director that I definitely want to work with again, and hopefully we will get it done. And Mishka as well. I mean, he was like a delight to work with. And like I said, I mean, once you're in the orbit and you're not an asshole, then I will be working with you again sooner than later. And definitely. So thanks for coming. And we will see you next week with a mind-bending episode of Dark Matter.
Thank you, JB, Mishka, the entire panel.
Everybody here and out there. And thanks.
Thank you, Cardinal Sin, Sarah Jett, Tim Possible, Time Prophet, everybody who's been in here. Thank you, John, Neil, Galinda, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Be safe, and we will be back next week with episode 6 of season 3, Dark Matter.